Hello everyone, I hope you are well. My name is Glasys, and I'm going to be demoing today Soundpaint's Centurion 1 Harps library. This library captures harp sounds in gorgeous detail and features tons of different articulations and glissandos, and it's just really expressive to play. So let's just jump right into it, and I'm going to show you what this can do. So first of all, as with many of ADO's libraries, there are different microphones you can choose from, which you can either play solo or mix together and layer and do whatever you want with them. For example, let's start with a sustained harp sound. Here is the close mic. Now let's add the wide microphone to that. And this is what they sound like together. Now let's add the third layer, the Decca mic. So right now they're all at a similar level, but of course you can mix them any way you want. You can make it sound drier and more upfront by turning down the other mics or altogether muting them, or you can make it sound more ambient and like it's in a big hall by completely, turning down the close mic or muting it. For the next part of this demo, I'm going to show you various articulations and sounds that are in this library. I can't cover them all, but I'll try to cover a nice variety of them. And I'm mainly going to use the close mic for these demos, just so you can hear what a single layer sounds like, the most upfront and clear layer, which is the close mic. After that, I'm going to show you some of the patches that I created for this that take more liberties with the sounds and take them into different territories, some of them more experimental. All right, first up, here is the main sustain sound. Now here's what that sounds like if we change the velocity settings for the patch, which is really easy to do in Soundpaint. So right now I'm going to trigger more of the high velocity sample, so I'm going to get a more intense kind of plucked sound. And here's the main plucked sample. This next sound is one of my favorites. It's the main Harmonics sound. I have a sweet spot for, mellow sounds, and I just found this one incredibly inspiring to play. Let's take a look at some of the gazillion glissando samples that are part of the Centurion 1 Harps library. I'm just going to show you a few of them. They're really beautifully recorded, and it's great to have such a large variety because you can always find something that'll work for your arrangement, for your track, the right type of chord, the right speed of glissando. There's so many different options here. Okay, let's move on to another articulation. This one's called Bisbigliando. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Sorry, harpists, if I'm completely screwing that up. But it's a really cool tremolo type sound, and I love it. Okay, hopefully that gave you a pretty good idea of what this library is capable of in terms of individual sounds. And now I'm going to show you some of the patches that I made that combine various sounds and use effects and layering and modulation to create more unique patches. Soundpaint really has a massive sweet spot, both in the samples and in the effects section as well. So it's never too hard to dial in something that is interesting and feels great to play. Okay, first up, this one is called Lullaby, and it makes use of the Harmonics sample that I showed you earlier. So here's an interesting experiment that combines two different sounds, and depending on the velocity of your playing, you'll hear the different samples. So if I play softly, I'm going to hear the harmonics, but if I play louder, I'm going to hear the plucked sound. It's very easy to create these kinds of combinations in Soundpaint, and I love experimenting with them because the possibilities are just infinite. Here's another example that makes use of this kind of combination. And this time, lower velocities trigger the plucked sound, but higher velocities give you a sustained sound. That's what this sounds like. Okay, and I did promise you more experimental stuff as well. So here's a patch I made that uses a bit crusher and a filter and various effects, and it doesn't sound like a harp anymore. It sounds like something different, but I love that, and that's kind of what I was going for. And that's what's so cool about Soundpaint is that if you just want to play a gorgeous harp sound, all you have to do is drag in a sample and just start playing immediately. But if you want to be more experimental, you can do that, and it's never too daunting or difficult. There aren't like a million parameters and stuff. You know, there's a nice selection of effects, a nice selection of modulation options and routings, and you can very quickly dial in something unique and interesting. And the sweet spot is always big, so I never have to struggle with settings to get it just right. I can get it within the ballpark, and it already just feels musical and inspiring to play. And you can very quickly end up in completely unexpected territories. You might set off trying to do something, but then end up somewhere completely different, but that'll give you an idea for a new song, you know? And I think that's what's great about this program. Okay, now let's go back to those Glissandos, but this time I'm going to show you what I've done with them by adding effects to them, which I control with the mod wheel. How about something a little more suspenseful? In this next one, the mod wheel is going to control the delay time and create this kind of spooky pitch shifting effect. Another thing you can easily do in Soundpaint is reverse the samples, offset them to start exactly where you want. So here's one that I called all backwards, pretty self-explanatory. So here's another example of reversing samples. This program uses all three main sustain microphones, but only the close mic is played normally and the others are reversed at different times, and it creates this sort of reverse delay effect. They're also panned differently and they have effects on them. Check it out. but sometimes simplicity is best. So here's a patch called just Simple and Pretty. So I've said this before, but to me, this is what makes Soundpaint so good. It is so easy to just dial in an inspiring sound. All you got to do is literally just drag in a sample. It's immediately playable. You want to touch a reverb, you just click a button and add reverb. And you don't have to struggle. There's a lot of software out there that boasts, like millions of different features and parameters and stuff, but it's really hard to dial in something that's just musical and expressive. And I'm sure you know what I mean. And I never get that feeling with Soundpaint. It's every single library that I've tried, and I've been working with Trolls and ADO and Soundpaint for a few years now. Every single library of theirs is just extremely musical. And I think that is because they're created by musicians for musicians. These guys really know how to capture the essence of an instrument beautifully and musically and make it as easy as possible for you to channel your own ideas using these sounds. All right, I'm going to leave you guys with one more sound. This one is called Wounds Healed. And if you're a video game nerd like me, you might know what I'm referring to. In any case, I hope you found this video helpful and enjoyable. I want to give a big thank you to Trolls and ADO for giving me the opportunity to share these videos with you. And I hope you have an amazing week. Much love to you.